that the new income tax bill will come next week. Will that be in the form of draft, and where you are also going to take stakeholder comments on that?
Yes, as a bill, any bill goes to the standing committee, and the standing committee will, of course, consult with so many stakeholders. And then it will come back to us, and if necessary, any more amendments, if need to be brought in, we'll bring it in and take it forward in the House.
So do we expect implementation in this in the fiscal year in FY26?
Do you expect what?
Do we expect the implementation of
Well,
the
let
new
it get passed. I hope it will get passed without much of a difficulty, but it is only after it's passing.
Sure. Thank you.
35 front.
Ma'am, Timsi Jaipuria, this side from CNBC TV 18. Uh, As you said, this is a very responsive government, which is why government decided to give these tax rebates. But given the structure that you have announced, ma'am, 12 up to 12 lakh is the rebate. Do you any reason why this rebate has been hiked from 7 to 12 lakh? Is it that the incomes or salaries were not growing up to the mark, which is why government thought that this rebate needs to be given? And also, how do you make up for this 1 lakh crore of revenue loss? Will it not impact the budget estimates? Where will you get this money from?
Christy, I think the first question is you said that this, when the incomes are not growing. This is an income tax. Only when there is an income, then we are talking of the tax. So income has to grow to the level to discuss about the tax. Now, why from 7 to 12 lakh? It is something like it was earlier 2.2 lakhs. When 2014, it became 2.5 lakh. Nobody is going to pay tax. Then there was a 2019 that, we said 5 lakhs, nobody is going to pay tax. And we said it was raised to 7 lakhs. And now it's being raised to 12 lakhs. So this is a perception that the government feels that, on the average 1 lakh per month, if you have, then you need not pay tax, which means that, we are doing it in two ways. One is we are reducing the slab rates. We are expanding the slabs. If you would have noticed, the slabs are now 0 to 4, 4 to the uniform slabs, and there is a gradualism. There was a thing when we had earlier 20%, then it was jumping to 30%. Now it is 20, we have introduced 25 also. So it's a gradual thing which has been done. Now this benefits every one of the taxpayers, because whatever benefits which has come from the slabs gets transmitted across. So therefore everyone gets a benefit. Now the second part, FM decided that, well, some people should get a little more benefit than merely slab rate reduction could have given. And so therefore an extra rebate. So slab rate reduction for everyone and extra rebate for 7 lakhs were already getting it, now 7 to 5 lakhs more people have been added. So this is the philosophy behind it. And as you said, why you do it, I think we expect that all that money which they gave, it comes back to the economy in either consumption, savings, or investments, in whatever way they choose to do.
I just want to add to that. If you compare what we've done today with what prevailed in 2014 under the Congress government, what we are, most often the narrative is we should put money back in the hands of the people. I want to please give this comparison for your consideration. If you compare it with the 2014 tax rates under the Congress, for somebody who's earning 8 lakhs, nearly 1 lakh more money is in their pockets today because of the amendments that we've brought in. Meaning, 1 lakh income tax in 2014 is 0 income tax now. So that money is going back to the people in their hands for those who are earning 8 lakhs. For those earning 12 lakhs, 2 lakh was the income tax in 2014 versus today 0 which is proposed. Meaning nearly 2 lakh more money in the pockets of people who are earning 12 lakh. All right, did I stop it there? As Finance Secretary rightly said, across the board, everybody is getting benefit because the rates have also been brought down. not just the rebates being given to up to 12 lakhs. Rates for everybody is being brought down. As a result, take somebody who earns 24 lakhs in a year. The income tax on them in 2014 was 5.6 lakhs. 2014. For them, now it is only 3 lakhs. The rate change has benefited somebody who earns 24 lakh as well. So 2.6 lakh rupees more in the pocket of people who are earning 24 lakh. So it is not just those who are up to 12 lakh because they are not paying any tax at all, because rebate is given to make up for the tax amount which they have to pay. It is not just up to 12 lakh. Even for others, benefit is accruing, and compared to what it was in 14, that much amount of money is going back to those respective money earners. Just compare it with 24 tax rates, which is prevailing now, and what is being proposed. I would like to draw the comparison. 8 lakh people, meaning those who are earning 8 lakhs. 30,000 rupees more is put money by being put back into their pockets, meaning they would be paying 30,000 in the prevailing tax, 8 lakh salaried wale. Now they pay zero in the new proposal. Similarly, 12 lakh salary or income wale would have 80,000 rupees tax to pay in the current prevailing taxation rates. They would have 80,000 rupees now go back to their pockets. They don't have to pay that tax. Go to the 24 lakh and compare with the present rates. Present prevailing rate, they have to pay 4.1 lakh rupees as tax. We are saying now they will have 1 lakh 10,000, 1.10 lakh in their pockets, which they don't have to pay as tax. So we have put good substantial amounts into the pockets of people who deserve to get that. And I would want that to be highlighted compared to what prevailed in 14 and what prevails just this year.
3. Yeah, three number.
Ma'am, many congratulations. Something that has been quoted to you as well as the Prime Minister and yesterday the Chief Economic Advisor hinted, in terms of disinvestment and where you should not get into, government. You yourself have been talking from 2020, 21, and subsequently, government should be in less spaces. Has it been a strategy? Because I know you're committed to it, but last budget you didn't refer to it. This budget you have not referred to it. The target still remains there. Is there any impetus that you're going to do towards what has already been announced by the budget? For example, bank privatization of banks and others. That's one. And the second because it was unanswered, you're making it simpler, the income tax, and bringing a thing. Does this mean that you can now not necessarily all the time you can do it through a schedule or an executive order if you want to give some relief to a common man in the new income tax bill that you bring in?
No, giving relief any time will have to go to the parliament, because if we are giving fiscal, relief to people, it has to have approval from the parliament. But what the tax simplification really means is the complication in the language, the circuitous way in which they were.
क्या आपको पता है आपका और हमारा बहुत ही लंबा और करीबी रिश्ता है। हम उस चटकारे में हैं जो आप अपने दोस्तों के साथ लेते हैं, उस दराज में है जिसमें छिपा है माँ के राजमा चावल का राज, उस स्वाद।
What we've done even now. So the act itself had to be simplified. The attempt now is that.
And on the disinvestment and...
No, all that will continue. There won't be a relenting on any of this.
On disinvestment, if I can add, you see, the last time July also the similar questions were asked. We have actually since then a value creation strategy, which was actually well explained at that time also. There is no disinvestment target per se. Disinvestment and dividend are both looked at together because both are money and money is fungible. And it has got 5 elements. The first element is that we are saying CPSC's performance. The second is we say that we should have communication of performance. The third we say that the capex of the CPSC, which is important, as you know, in terms of accelerating growth. The fourth is the consistent dividend policy. And the fifth is you know, there is a calibrated disinvestment strategy. And the disinvestment also is there. The listing is a part of disinvestment itself. So if you really look at it, both dividend and disinvestment is about 80 to 90,000 crore per annum are being raised, but in a manner which are beneficial to the minority shareholders who are there in all our listed companies.
65, back side.
Good afternoon, ma'am. This is Ruchi Bhatia from Bloomberg News. I have a question for the Revenue Secretary and a question for you. If the Revenue Secretary can give us details on the benefits, the number of people who will benefit from the slab, from the rebates going up from 7 lakhs to 12 lakhs. And the question for you, Madam Finance Minister, a lot of people say that while the absolute number for CAPEX has gone up, the pace of spending has gone down as compared to a few years ago. Is it telling of the institutional capacity in terms of how much CAPEX push can the government really do? And secondly, as far as a lot of analysts do say that the multiplier that CAPEX has is a lot more than the multiplier in the economy than that tax cuts have. What would you, say to like some of those concerns as well?
Well, 1 crore people will not benefit between the 7 lakh and 12 lakhs.
Meaning 1 crore more people will pay no tax. On the capex, I think there are two things playing out. One, of course, this particular year has had the elections happening, and because of that, both central government and state governments were catching up with investments, public spending on investments only from the second and the third quarter, so it showed. It's equally true that when fundamental requirements are taken care of, when you're bringing in additional overhead, there is a pace at which those additions happen. So it's not as if there is no thirst for capital expenditure, but now it'll be at a pace in which you can build on each one of the developments that you've done prior. So it'll continue. There are some departments which will need more. There are others who would probably reach a plateau, but expenditure will have to continue even in them. So the heads where the capital expenditure will happen will vary, but expenditure will happen in building assets.
121.
No, capex is also continuing. I have not foregone capex to give for revenue expenditure or consumption expenditure. So both continue. Ajay.
Look at what the overall numbers are. Even in the coming year, the next year, effective capital expenditure, including what Government of India provides to state for their capital expenditure, is 4.3% of the GDP, one of the highest. It's not just what Government of India departments spend, it is the total money which goes for the capital expenditure. And if you look at that compared with this year's RE, there will be 20% increase. If you look B to B, still there will be a 10% increase. And it is not a capacity issue, it is a new sectors coming up. For example, if you notice, urban sector, the allocations are increasing. That's one area which requires a renewed focus.
121.
On the capex, because this point can come up later also. So one is the capex that we give directly, that is we do a central government directly. Other is that grants that we give to the state governments, for the state governments to do capex. For example, for Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, for example, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, and so on and so forth. So if you also include the grants and aid for creation of capital assets, the total amount has gone up to 15.48 crores in the budget estimate for the next year, which is more than 15% increase over the current year's RE. So that is a substantial increase. Whereas you consider that the overall expenditure, that is revenue plus capital, has grown by around 7% in the next financial year as compared to this year's RE. So this is almost twice the aggregate growth in the expenditure.
Yes. I would like to also add that on top of this 15 lakh crore capex, which is 11.2 there, and an extra money which goes into revenue but goes in capital building at the hand of the states, the CPSE, the Central Public Sector Enterprises, add about 4 lakh crore as capex from their own resources. So that's also the capex which goes in, and that is not counted here.
Mic on. तरुण शर्मा फ्रॉम जी बिजनेस। मैम मेरे दो सवाल हैं। एक, मैम आपने इंश्योरेंस की जो एफडीआई लिमिट है वो 74 से 100% करिए, तो क्या मैम जो इंश्योरेंस अमेंडमेंट बिल था उसकी जो बाकी रिकमेंडेशन है उसको रिजेक्ट किया गया है, सिर्फ इसी को एक्सेप्ट किया है 74 से 100% का? दूसरा मैम, मूडीज ने कहा है कि जो पब्लिक डेट है स्टेट और सेंट्रल का वो अभी भी 80% है, इस वजह से हम रेटिंग अपग्रेड इस बजट के अनाउंसमेंट के हिसाब से नहीं कर सकते। So do you think is there concern for the on the public debt?
Yeah. See, now, presently the insurance is 74%. Now, fundamentally, whether it's 74% or 100%, the material doesn't matter. But what actually matters is the psychological feeling that they can actually own the company 100%. Along with this FDI, we are also going to, FM also announced that we are going to simplify certain procedures and rules that we frame, which is including the key management personnel, person who can be chairman of the company, and person who can be the CEO and board of directors, and also repatriation of dividends. All those are part of this, the proposed reforms that has been announced by the FM today.
And sir, what about the other recommendation on the draft insurance amendment bill?
That's what we are actually bringing. The draft insurance bill is the one FM has announced, but the main point she has mentioned that 100% FDI, including simplification of existing rules for FDI is coming.
Yes. And then public debt on the public.
Serial number 2. Finance Minister has also announced, this answer complete his question, the roadmap for fiscal consolidation by the center. And please have a look at the FRBM statement, which carries the different scenarios. And over a period of next 6 years, how that will be brought down. Similar one, what has to be done through the state governments as well. So it is a process which is on.
Number 2.
हेलो, नमस्कार मैम, मैं आलोक प्रियदर्शी हूँ सीएनबीसी की आवाज़ से। मैम मेरा सवाल है कि मिडिल क्लास के लिए काफ़ी बड़ी राहत है, 12 लाख तक जो टैक्स छूट दी गई है। इसमें आपने बजट स्पीच में कहा जो कैपिटल गेन से लोग कमाई करेंगे उसको इसमें शामिल नहीं किया गया, उस पर नॉर्मली टैक्स देना पड़ेगा जो स्लैब के रेट से है। तो ज़्यादातर लोग आजकल मार्केट में इन्वेस्ट करते हैं, उनको लॉन्ग टर्म इन्वेस्टमेंट होती है, उनको कैपिटल गेन्स होते हैं कई तरह से, उनको बाहर रखने का, उनको केप्ट असाइड रखने का क्या रीज़न है, क्या उसके पीछे वजह है?
मिनिस्टर सेक्रेटरी उसके ऊपर ज्यादा विस्तार से बोलेंगे। बाहर रखने वाले चीज नहीं है, इनकम का कैलकुलेशन कभी भी वैसे ही होता है, उसमें कैपिटल गेन्स का जोड़ते नहीं है। मैं स्पष्टता के लिए उसको जोड़ रखा है उधर सेंटेंस पढ़ने के समय, ये नया मेरा पद्धति नहीं।
Do you ever wonder why the food at a restaurant takes 20 minutes to come to your table? It's because of a system that assigns the task to each member, ensuring quality of service while also enabling ease of scaling in case of high footfall, which is what Docker and Kubernetes do as well. If you want to learn the fundamentals of Docker and Kubernetes, then attend this Scalar Masterclass where we will talk about how to make production quality applications.
तो वो क्या मान्य होता? तो कैपिटल गेन्स को एक अलग टैक्स की व्यवस्था की गई है जो कि कम है। वो इसलिए की गई है कि रिस्क उसमें है और उसमें लोग रिटर्न करते हैं कैपिटल मार्केट को बढ़ावा देने के लिए, तो उसमें 12.5% हमने टैक्स लगाया, तो वो एक अलग रखा जाता है। उसमें एक अलग एग्जेम्पशन लिमिट भी है। यदि वो एक साल में कैपिटल गेन्स आपको इज इट 1.25 लाख 1.25 लाख यदि हो तो वो एग्जेम्प्ट भी होता है, तो और यदि शॉर्ट टर्म हो तो वो 20% होता है, तो वो एक व्यवस्था अलग है। और नॉर्मल इनकम की व्यवस्था है जो कि स्लैब रेट और उससे काउंट होती है, तो इसलिए वो अलग ही है। कंफ्यूजन ना हो इसलिए वित्त मंत्री जी ने स्पष्ट उसको कर दिया था स्पीच में, क्योंकि ये कंफ्यूजन की संभावना थी कि सब लोग ये समझेंगे, तो उसको स्पष्ट किया गया।
46 पीछे बैक साइड hello ma'am, Harsh Kumar from Business Standard newspaper. Ma'am, since government has decided to move ahead with a comprehensive asset monetization plan, so what are the new changes from the previous one, and if you can give some broader aspects of it in detail.
See, as we are aware that till the last year, the first program which was launched in 2021, based on that success is the next leap, almost double the amount which are coming up. And there are newer asset classes will also be come up. For example, transmission assets, and not just of the Government of India. Government of India doesn't own, say, Power Corporation, Power Transmission Corporation, but the state government's assets are also there. So they will do the monetization, and you will hear very soon that entire plan will be out.
Sir, can we, in future, can we get a separate number of asset monetization and disinvestment?
See, this money, what the intent is, there's already an investment, or rather the assets are there, which may be owned by Government of India, which may be owned by, say, NHAI, or they may be owned by one of the PSUs. They disinvest, not disinvest, they monetize that asset and use that money to build a fresh or a new project and a new asset, plow back that money back into the economy. So these are not necessarily money coming to Consolidated Fund of India. Very rarely the money comes in. NHI doesn't invest, money remains with them, they build another road by using that money.
13.
Hi, ma'am. Good afternoon. I am Kriti. I'm from Informist Media. So right now you just said that your fiscal prudence has finally aligned with your glide path that you had announced in FY21. This year you have given a new roadmap. So mentioned debt to GDP roadmap. You aim to bring down your debt to GDP ratio to 49 to 51% by FY31, considering the nominal GDP would be in the range of 10 to 11. So based on that, and you said that you will peg your fiscal deficit in a way that it goes on to bring down your debt to GDP ratio. So is there a rough estimation of what kind of fiscal deficit you may have by FY31? And secondly, on 31, when you aim to bring down your debt to GDP ratio. Secondly, on funding of fiscal deficit for the next fiscal year, you have brought down the borrowing from small savings from considerably low, it's 16% low from last year. Is there any reason for the limited optimism? Earlier, it used to finance 25% of your deficit. Now it's going to finance 22% of your deficit. So if you could just elaborate on if there is any reason for that. Thank you.
The sleep company make istundi peaceful sleep. ఎందుకంటే దీని patented smart grid mattress is tested and retested. అంచేత దీని firmness ఇంకా shape అలాగే ఉంటుంది 30,000 sleep hours వరకు. A 10-year warranty మరియు 100 nights risk-free trial. The sleep company, makers of peaceful sleep. ఇప్పుడు మీ దగ్గరలో ఉన్న స్టోర్ కి వెళ్ళండి.
Stop wasting time applying for jobs on LinkedIn or Naukri or other online job portals. You know why? Because HR posts only 20% of the jobs on these sites, and most of them are entry-level jobs. But if you're a mid or senior level professional, you need to tap into the hidden 80% of the job market, because this is where you can find a gold mine of opportunities with higher salaries, great work culture, and growth opportunities. And I'll show you exactly how you can do that in my free Dream Job webinar. In this webinar, you'll discover my proven CAR framework that's helped over 25,000 working professionals learn how to find their dream jobs in companies like Deloitte, Amazon, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, and many more. Click the link below and join the free webinar right now. I'll see you on the inside.
Set is the overall fiscal deficit, overall borrowing. If more is coming in small savings, less from the market. If less is coming from the small savings, more will be from the market. So our assessment numbers are slightly lesser than this year. And to that extent, market borrowings we have indicated, which will be slightly less than the current year numbers, marginally lower are there. But if there were to be more inflow of small savings, to that extent, market borrowings will go down. And as you are aware, we do set the calendar every half year.
51.
Hi, ma'am. This is Vikas from the Hindu. First of all, you've left us with very few questions after that announcement on the direct taxes front. And you mentioned that there is a 1 lakh crore, revenue foregone from that move, which is obviously going to help boost consumption and demand and private investment in turn. I wanted to get a sense of the mathematics behind the overall fiscal math that we worked out for next year. Because despite this tax relief, we are looking at a direct income tax as receipts as a part of gross tax receipts are likely to rise to 33.7% as per the revenue receipts plan, and which is the highest ever, and marks a significant increase over the 24-25 income tax receipts. So I wanted to understand what's what gives, how do you work this out? Because on one hand we are giving away significant relief. Where do we expect the gains
I hope
from?
you're not suggesting we shouldn't have done this. Are you? I hope you're not suggesting that we shouldn't have done this income tax, giving money back to people through rebates and other ways.
No, I'm just curious where we expect the buoyancy coming from.
That's fine. All right. It was answered at that time. Anyway.
Okay, let me just see. We are talking about personal income tax, taxes on income, and we had 19.7% growth in 22-23. We have 25.4% in actual terms, and 24-25, 23-24, we had 25%, and 24-25, if you take the RE figures, growth is likely to be 20%. And what we have proposed for 25-26 is a growth of 14.4%. So we have moderated. I mean, we have been growing 20% almost on this plan, and we have made it 14%. Now coming to buoyancy, our buoyancy was in for the taxes on income was 2.65 in 23-24, and 24-25 expected buoyancy is 2, and the buoyancy which has been assumed for 25-26 is 1.42. So you would see that we have assumed a moderate buoyancy, looking into the sacrifice of revenue which has been done. So we have done our math. Thank you.
9.
Third row. Good evening, ma'am. Considering the government's measure to put
अपना
more,
परिचय दे दो.
sorry, this is Chetan from Business Today. Considering that the government's measure to put in more money into the hands of the public, are you trying to mitigate the impact of a possible Trump tariff trade wars from the US, or are you relying more on domestic production to ensure that Indians have a shield from the US trade wars if they happen to be so?
Well, I don't think we've gone that far to justify this income tax rate reduction. We've responded to the voice of the people and also made our own assessments, and therefore we've given this. And I thought there was an allegation also that we didn't respond to what may come through the US administration's tariff, whatever, decisions. Well, I don't think these two are connected, at least in the way in which we like to believe it. You may want to give a different dimension, but no, we have not done it with that intent.
64 at the back.
मैडम नमस्कार, मैं महावीर सिंह बोल रहा हूँ, फ्रीलांसिंग करता हूँ। आपने इनकम टैक्स में बड़ी राहत दी है, हम तो 10 लाख की उम्मीद कर रहे थे, आपने 12 लाख कर दिया एकदम। और मुझे लगता है कि क्या सरकार इनकम टैक्स रिजीम से हटकर एक्सपेंडिचर टैक्स रिजीम की तरफ जा रही है? जो आप इनकम टैक्स में आपने कहा कि इस राहत से 1 करोड़ लोग इससे बाहर हो जाएंगे और इसमें कम ग्रोथ होगी, और दूसरी तरफ आपका जो टैक्स रिसीट है वो बढ़ता जा रहा है, पूरे बजट का आकार बढ़ रहा है, तो सरकार क्या एक्सपेंडिचर टैक्स की तरफ ज़्यादा झुकाव
नहीं
दिख रहा है?
ये सिर्फ आने वाले साल के, मतलब अभी अप्रैल 1 से शुरू होने वाले साल के टैक्स प्रपोजल्स है। आप पिछले साल का रेवेन्यू को देख करके इससे ये कनेक्शन मत निकालिए। हम जनता के लिए, मिडिल क्लास के लिए राहत दिलाने के लिए प्रधानमंत्री जी के आदेश के अनुसार रेट रिडक्शन किया है, उतना ही। In digital reading material for students and in school and colleges, every aspect of education, and bringing in that dimension which is so critical for health, daycare, cancer centers, and making sure more medical seats are available. These are kind of things with which I'm trying to highlight. The approach in this budget has been pointed on areas which definitely need immediate intervention, outlays, and action along with the states. So Vikasit Bharat is not just being described. I've given you also what we mean by Vikasit Bharat, or what is it that we expect to achieve for Vikasit Bharat. So this budget actually has given you several things on which you can understand how this economy is being planned to take forward a route towards Vikasit Bharat. Secretaries have joined me. All of them would also come in to explain or answer and give clarity and so on. But one thing which I certainly would like to highlight is responding to the voice of the people, which is what Prime Minister Modi is known for in his administration. It's a very responsive.
क्या आपको पता है आपका और हमारा बहुत ही लंबा और करीबी रिश्ता है। हम उस चटकारे में हैं जो आप अपने दोस्तों के साथ लेते हैं, उस दराज में है जिसमें छिपा है